Hi, it's Noelle from Azer Rising, and there's something that I want to talk to you about today. We're in my kitchen, not because I'm going to cook anything, so don't get your hopes up, but I do my best thinking when I'm in the kitchen cleaning or cooking. I don't know why that is. I think that I get most of my ideas in here because I'd rather do pretty much anything else than dishes. So I get a lot of my ideas about things I'd like to share and post on Azer Rising while I'm in the kitchen, and then I gotta stop what I'm doing and go write it down. So we're gonna cut out the middleman today, and I'm just gonna talk to you, and we're gonna see how that goes. Just a little bit of background on me. I grew up in a Christian home, baptized at age 9. My father baptized me. He was also my pastor. And as I grew up, I always had a hunger for understanding the Bible and wanting to know God. But I had a very difficult time with authoritarian parents, and I was always considered kind of a rebel and a spitfire. And so it was tough for me to feel like I fit into the mold that I should have been as a godly little girl and then a godly young woman. So that was always a struggle for me. I never quite fit in at Bible college either. I was always a little bit opinionated, but I never had an issue with male headship. Never. And it wasn't until 3 years ago that I discovered that all of the things that God had given me and the different gifts that He'd given me, I wasn't actually using properly because I was waiting for men to really kind of direct me and lead me and tell me what to do. So once I kind of figured out really what equality means and what it could mean for my life and that it is biblical, I found myself completely and totally diving in headfirst. And I love the freedom that I feel now to know who I am so much from a standpoint that allows me to really do the work that I believe that God has for me in a way that makes me feel useful and satisfied. And so I love it, but there is one pitfall, there's one thing that happened along the way, and it was completely unexpected, and I want to tell you about it because I think maybe you might relate to this. I've spent the last 3 years angry at my parents for teaching it to me wrong, angry at churches who did not identify in me that this was something that I can do. Angry at my college because they didn't encourage women towards pastoral studies. I found myself angry at any man who would call himself a complementarian because I assumed that he was oppressing his wife and did it because of his own sinful pride. I imagined every woman who thought she should submit to her husband and submit more than he submits in the relationship was oppressed and suppressing herself and her gifts, and that resentment and frustration would be building in her over time. And the thing is I don't think that's true now. I realize that in my effort, I allowed the anger to fuel me to kind of swing all the way to the other side and realize, the truth about how God views His children. And that discovery for me made me so mad at other people that I was burning bridges left and right. I think I was scary to be around. I think that people thought that I was unapproachable. So anybody who I would have wanted to have this conversation with, maybe because they were searching, I disqualified myself as a viable resource because I was so swept up and wrapped up in my own anger about my own past and my own history that I neglected to imagine that maybe they're just doing what they think is right, just like I am. And so I have to learn how to extend grace. You have to learn how to extend grace. Just because somebody might disagree with you does not make them your enemy. And just because somebody might have been taught it to you different, or might have been taught it to, had it taught to them differently, does not mean that now they have to be exactly where you are, when God has them on a different path. And I would totally say that these systems are oppressive and they are broken. But we don't change anything if we break people. That is not how Jesus wants us to change this world. And when we are burning bridges instead of building them, we disqualify ourselves from being effective workers for the kingdom and for equality.